Okay, thank you very much, Ian, for the kind introduction. Now, I am going to share my screen. Give me a minute here, or a few seconds to do that. Right. Okay. So, can you all see the screen now? Can you all listen to me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Okay. First and foremost, thank you very much once again for this opportunity for me to share with all of you about fireflies. Now, the presentation this evening is a compilation of not only my work, but also from other researchers, other people, um, which I would like to acknowledge, namely my former senior colleague, Dr. Che Woon Ken, who has done a lot of work in FRC on fireflies in Sabah, Tony Wong of Malaysian Nature Society, researchers from the Forest Research Institute Malaysia of PRIM, University Malaysia Sabah, Dr. Mahadi Manakbar has been doing some work on fireflies, as well as papers. I gathered some papers from the Lee Kong Chen Natural History Museum of Singapore. So even though I am an entomologist, I don't claim that I know everything about fireflies, but I'll try my best to share what I know so that you'll know more about this awesome insect tonight. Right, magical fireflies of Sabah. And a lot of you, or rather, the first thing that people ask, what are fireflies? Are they flies? Are they bugs? Because they are also known as lightning bugs. Now, actually, fireflies are not flies, even though they have soft body. They have soft body. They belong to the beetle family Lampyridae. Well, you don't have to remember this. It sounds a bit bombastic, this family name. But for those who are doing research, they have to know this family beetle name, Lampyridae. So the next time when you hear about Lampyridae, it refers to fireflies. Now, how many species are there? There are about 2,000 described species worldwide. And how many are in Malaysia? I will tell you later on. And they are found not only in the tropics, but also in temperate countries. But of course, the diversity is much higher in tropical countries compared to temperate. For example, in Australia, I was told that there are only about 20 species, while in the UK, there is only 1 to 2 species. And in Malay, there are so many names given to fireflies. I'm sure many of you would know what they are called. Sometimes they are called api-api because they are like glittering fire, kunang-kunang, or kelip-kelip. Kelip-kelip because now you see, now you don't. But the most interesting one is in Dusun. In Dusun, it is called toninipot. Sounds very cute and adorable, yeah? Toninipot. And in Chinese, they are called ying po tong, which literally means lightning bugs or firefly. So before I move on further to the life cycle, conservation, ecology, so on and so forth, I think one of the most fundamental things that we have to know are why are fireflies important in the ecosystem, right? The first one is that fireflies are part of our biodiversity heritage. It's an awesome insect. It's wonderful. So I'm sure you are happy to have fireflies in your ecosystem, in your country. So it is a natural biodiversity heritage. And also, secondly, it provides a lot of inspiration in arts. And I will elaborate further if I have the time later on about inspiration in arts and also in design. And it forms part of culture, folklore, and tradition of many countries, yeah, of many races as well. And firefly genes and enzyme in coal light production are used in biomedical research, yeah, and this is to assist medical diagnosis. Moving on, fireflies are important indicator of mangrove and riverine ecosystem. Now, some of you may ask me, what is a bioindicator? I'll give you an example, yeah. For example, the giant forest ant. For those of you who have been into the tropical rainforest, the lowland rainforest, you may have encountered the giant forest ant, but they are not found outside a good rainforest. You can't find the giant forest and Bioluminescence gurgas in agriculture area or in open area, and hence the giant forest ant is a bioindicator for a good forest environment. So in this sense, fireflies are good bioindicator for good mangroves and riverine ecosystem. But then this also depends on what are the vegetation found in that kind of forests. And fireflies are used as natural biocontrol. They are carnivorous, especially the larva stage. Yeah? The larva stage is carnivorous or predaceous, and they prey on other invertebrates such as snails and worms. And the next one, fireflies are a source of food for other insectivorous animals in the food chain, such as frogs, reptiles, lizards, as well as birds. And the last one is, of course, important for humans in terms of generating revenue. Firefly watching generates revenue for the state and contributes to the local economy. But of course, not in this time of COVID-19 pandemic. Hopefully, things will improve in time to come, and tourism industry will be back to normal. And as I've mentioned, fireflies are always featured in folklore in many countries throughout the world, in China, in Japan, and also among the Native Americans, as well as the Victorian tradition. And when I was a kid, my mom and also my teacher used to tell me that some parts in China is very poor. They can't afford to buy oil lamp or even electricity supply to their houses. So at night, the children will have to go out and hunt for fireflies and put them in the jar so that they have enough light to do their homework and to study at night. So my mom always reminds me, so you're very fortunate, so do study hard, right? So these are some of the stories that we used to listen when we were kids. Well, I hope that things are much better now in China, and they don't have to catch fireflies. Otherwise, it's quite torturing, yeah, to keep fireflies inside the jar. And in Japan, yeah, in Japan, fireflies or lightning bugs are actually souls of the dead, and they represent those who have died in the war, right? And they have been used as a metaphor for passionate love in poetry as well. So these are some of the folklores in different cultures of the world. So what is so interesting and what is so wonderful about fireflies that it has fascinated humans for centuries? And the feature that makes them so magical is their ability to produce a fascinating display of light, like that of a Christmas tree. Well, at this time of the year, of course, it is like the Hari Raya atmosphere, yeah, where you can see that there are a lot of neon lights and also lights from the oil lamp, yeah, out within the house compound, and you see that it's a very lively atmosphere or festive atmosphere, and you tend to feel that when you go for uh, firefly watching while cruising along the river. So it is indeed fascinating. Now, the light is used as a means of sexual communication and also to mark the territory of different species. Now, each species is known to develop its own mating signal to avoid being confused with other species on the same tree or within the same vicinity. And fireflies are known to be more efficient than light bulbs, while the normal light bulb gives off only 10% of its energy as light and 90% as heat. But the cold light of the firefly gives off nearly 100% of its energy as light. So it's really interesting, yeah. Um, Now the cold light is known as bioluminescence. For those who study biology, I believe that you all know what bioluminescence. It is produced through a chemical reaction by an oxidative enzyme known as luciferase found in the firefly's lower abdomen. And the word luciferase actually comes from the shorter word Lucifer, which means light bearing or light carrying. And of course, in religion, there's also a meaning for Lucifer. So just before I move on to the life cycle of fireflies, I go in a bit detail on the chemical reaction in producing coal light. Just a bit only, so no worries. The organic compound called luciferin will combine with ATP. Yeah, ATP is adenosine triphosphate and oxygen, and then it is enhanced with the enzyme luciferase as well as magnesium ion, and there you go, you get the light. Yeah, so this is how the chemical reaction in producing coal light. So much about the chemical reaction, and I guess this would be more interesting for our audience tonight, the life cycle of firefly. And here I'm using an example of the genus Pteroptychs, which is a group of congregating fireflies, very common in Malaysia and also in Southeast Asia. Now, like any other beetles, firefly would go through a complete metamorphosis, which means that it will begin from an egg, will become the larva, and going through a few stages of larva, and it will become a pupa and then hibernate for a while, and eventually it will become an adult, which is different from a grasshopper. Yeah, a grasshopper will exhibit incomplete metamorphosis, which means that it goes through the eggs and then different nymphal stages and become the adult. But for firefly, it is 4 stages, yeah, from egg to larva, pupa, and the adult firefly. So I guess it's good that we go through the stages one by one. What did I say? All right. Now, a firefly begins its life cycle as a fertilized egg implanted in damp soil or plant or decaying plant material, or also in rotting wood. And also for your information, the pictures featured here are taken from a poster produced by Nada and Curtin of Prim in 2005. And after a couple of weeks, the young larva emerges, as you can see on the screen here, and it will become an eating machine like any other larvae or caterpillars, yeah. But this one, it is preying on snails, worms, and other invertebrates. I'm sure for those of you who have observed caterpillars of butterflies and moths, at the caterpillar stage, they do nothing but feed on plants over and over again. They try to eat as much as they can, and they are very voracious. Similarly, the larvae of these fireflies are also very voracious because they are going against the time. They need to grow very fast because they wouldn't know that the environment ahead is conducive for them. So they will try their best to reach the adult stage. And some would ask me how to maintain or increase firefly population. Now, generally, firefly larvae grow up in rotten logs and leaf litter, as well as inside the soil in the forest floor. And it's always towards the inland part of the mangroves or riverine forests. So many of their food source, as I've mentioned, snails, worms, and other smaller invertebrates are found here. So when there is plenty of food, the population will grow well. And hence, sometimes it's not good to clear everything in the riverine area or in the mangrove area, so that some of these source of food for fireflies could be found easily for this larva to continue to grow. And the matured larva will pupate after a few months. Actually, it's between 1 to 2 months. And the adult firefly will emerge from the pupa stage, yeah, after about 10 days, like those of a lot of butterflies and moths. Whoops. It's like, okay, it's working. Now, after becoming the adult, for the next few weeks, its only mission is to eat, sleep, and make more fireflies. Interestingly, adult fireflies feed on plant sap. So from carnivorous at the larva stage to and become herbivorous in the adult stage, which is rather interesting. Yeah. So they do nothing but eat, sleep, and make more fireflies, so that the generation will continue to grow. Now, Malaysia is home to a unique genus of congregating fireflies, as I mentioned just now, Pteroptics, whose synchronous flashing lights up entire trees and are much sought after as nature tourism attraction. In Sabah, as well as in Peninsular Malaysia, congregating fireflies are mainly found in the mangroves and riverine areas. And for your information, Sabah has the largest tract of mangroves in Malaysia, encompassing more than 60% of the nation's mangroves. And a lot of these mangroves are found in the east coast of Sabah. And just to showcase here some of the display trees, yeah, by the Congregating Fireflies, and this is based on a publication in Thailand by Jaitla 2020. And you can see that the top three groups of plants which are preferred by these fireflies as display trees are all mangrove species. The first one is Soniratia fasciolaris, which is berembang, yeah, very common in Sungai Kuantan, Kuala Selangor, and in many parts of Malaysia as well. That comprises 36.7%, yeah, of preferred by these fireflies. And then the Avicennia or api-api, yeah, the second one, 30.2%, and Rhizophora, which is bakau minyak and also bakau kurap, bangkita, 23.1%. Hibiscus, yeah, is also a preferred tree, but this, I believe that this hibiscus refer to the coastal hibiscus, yeah, which you can always see along the coastal area. So I'm not going into detail of all the other species, but I just want to highlight to you that a lot of these preferred trees are normally the mangrove species and the coastal trees. It's a bit slow. Oh, yep, it's working. And the picture here is showing Rhizophora apiculata or bangkita, which is among some of the mangrove trees used by fireflies for their congregation. And this particular species is very common in the mangroves in the Sandakan area, as well in some parts of in the west coast of Sabah. I'm sure in Peninsular Malaysia as well. Now, it has been estimated that there are more than 70 species of fireflies in Malaysia. But I would say that this is a conservative figure. It could be more than that. And I got this figure after much discussion with Sonny Wong of Malaysian Nature Society. And Pteroptyx tenor, measuring 5 to 6 millimeters, yeah, is among the commonest species. I'm sure when you are in Kuala Selangor, a lot of those fireflies are from this species, Pteroptyx tenor. And imagine this is 5 to 6 mm, yeah, not 5 to 6 cm. 5 mm is just half of 1 cm. You see how big, or rather how small is this insect, yeah? If you have a ruler there, you look at 5 mm. It's small, but it has a huge impact, yeah, because of the numbers. It's not the size that matters here. It is the number, and it is the light, yeah, that caused the impact. It is the cold light that caused the impact in this firefly, yeah. Now, a lot of people would ask where we can watch firefly in Sabah, and when is the best time to watch fireflies. Now, I'm referring here to Sabah. It may be slightly later in Peninsular Malaysia. The best time to see firefly is 7 to 10 p.m. on moonless night, yeah. Perhaps in Peninsular Malaysia, it should be 8 to 11, yeah. And the number and viewing during rainy or full moon night are not so fascinating. So a lot of people will be asking, why can't we see more fireflies on a full moon night? Because it's clearer and it's easier to to know where they are. But that's not the case. Yeah, during full moon, you know, it's not only fireflies. Yeah, insects are attracted to light. Nocturnal insects. Yeah, or night insects are attracted to um, uh, moonlight, which has ultraviolet light. So during full moon, they will try to fly as high as they can to reach the topmost part of the canopy. Yeah, you know, they can't reach the moon, so they try to fly as high as they can. So many of the fireflies will be at the canopy, or they might have go somewhere else. That's why you can't see them congregating on the display tree. So that's why during full moon, it's not the best time to watch firefly. And of course, when it's breezy or when it's raining, then you don't get to see many of them. But if it rains that afternoon, yeah, if it rains that afternoon, and if you go for an evening tour, you are bound to see a lot of fireflies, like what I've experienced last year. Now, where can you see fireflies in Sabah? Of course, for those of you, I mean, in the West Coast, many of you may have been to these places in Krias, Beaufort, in Tuaran, in Sungai Beringis, in Kinarut, Kinabatangan as well, in Abay, Kinabatangan. But I think those in Kinabatangan and Abay are not as spectacular as those in Sungai Gerama, Bin Suluk, Western, or Krias. And I had the chance to join one of the groups in Sandakan last year, which I'm going to feature, if I have the time afterwards, feature that in Sandakan, in Batu 10, Pengkalan Sandakan. And also here, I would like to acknowledge Murphy Ng, who has written an article on this firefly watching, posted on mysabah.com, with contribution from various researchers from UMS, Fifi, Ilya, and also Mahadi Manakba. So I'm using their information actually. Now, okay, this just to briefly show you, these are the locations of congregating fireflies in Sabah. And you can see that the one that is in blue, yeah, is actually firefly watching location. The one that is in red is the firefly presence. And you can see that there are more, well, did I get this correct? Okay. There are more firefly watching location in the West Coast compared to the East Coast actually, because not so much in East Coast because of the security reasons. All right, that is what I want to highlight. Okay. Oh, all right. Yep. Okay. Now, what are the threats affecting firefly population? Number one is habitat clearing or disturbance. So if you clear a lot of habitat, if you destroy or damage a lot of the habitat, then there'll be less firefly. And of course, pollution from light and noise. You know, fireflies are very sensitive insects. The presence of light will distract them, and also noise. That's why when you go for firefly watching, the tour guides would advise you to tone down your voice, and also do not turn on your lights as you wish, only at certain time. And of course, development, housing, and so on, with a lot of lights will distract a lot of these fireflies, and they will move elsewhere. But then Number three, the usage of pesticides and fertilizers from adjacent agriculture areas has the most adverse impact on the firefly population. Excessive use of pesticides in agriculture areas, if you flow into the river and from there, it will affect the mudflats and also the habitats of fireflies in the mangroves. So eventually, it will reduce a lot of the firefly population. So it's very important to adopt a good agriculture practice in agriculture areas so that it will not adversely affect the population, not only on fireflies, but also on pollinating insects. And fourthly, unethical tourism practices. Frequent firefly flashing of powerful torchlight to attract fireflies should be discouraged. Should be discouraged. Of course, for tourists or visitors who have not seen fireflies, they were very excited when they see this for the first time. Of course, they will ask the tourist guide to try to get them some fireflies so that they can take a close-up look on the fireflies. I have no objection on this, but you have to be very careful and you have to advise them accordingly not to squash the fireflies because they are quite soft and tender. So people would like to hold them and they thought, well, it's a beetle, so it must be quite tough, but it's not, you see. So ethical tourism practices are very important. So some people may say that they just do it once or twice for that tourist group, but you have loads of tourists and in due course, so it will adversely affect the population of fireflies. Now, still on conservation, what do we need to do in order to conserve fireflies? Of course, number one, it is to protect the firefly habitats. Number two, to rehabilitate degraded firefly habitats. For example, the forestry department is putting in a lot of effort in mangrove rehabilitation of degraded mangrove forests in cooperation with NGOs like the International Society for Mangrove Ecosystems, or in short, ISME. And they are also providing expertise and guidance to the forestry department, working hand in hand on forest rehabilitation in the degraded mangroves. And it is important to adopt a good agricultural practice in adjacent areas. And fourthly, practice responsible and sustainable firefly watching. Tourist guides are the frontliners. You deal with tourists and visitors from all parts of the world. You have to be responsible. You have to tell them what are the do's and don'ts during firefly watching, so that our future generation will be able to enjoy what we have today. And of course, there's a need to enhance research and development on fireflies. Not much is known about fireflies in the tropics. In fact, I was asked in one of my talks how many firefly species that are endemic to Borneo. Well, to be frank, I don't really know because not much documentation, extensive and intensive documentation has been done on fireflies. No doubt that there are a few groups that are working on the firefly diversity and ecology, there's still a lot of work to be done, and working on firefly taxonomy is also not easy. It's also very tedious. And number 6, it's also to promote environmental and conservation awareness on fireflies, like what I'm doing now, so that you all are you'll know more about fireflies and the need to protect this wonderful insect. And for those of you who would like to know more about conservation of fireflies, a lot of this info can be downloaded from the Selangor Declaration, where they have an international workshop organized by FRIM, I think some 8 to 9 years back, where they come up with this Selangor Declaration on conservation of fireflies. Whoop. Okay. Now, I would like to draw your attention here on the conservation, still on the conservation aspect on fireflies, a conservation plan, which was highlighted by Sean Cheng et al. And this is a very recent paper published in Biodiversity and Conservation. Now, this team of researchers from FRIM highlighted a 3-step approach in conservation of fireflies. I guess it's a little bit too small for you to look at the diagram here, but the 3 important approaches are understanding the biological and ecological requirements of fireflies and their habitats. That's the most fundamental approach that you have to do first. And then secondly, to develop a protection program using legislation or law, taking into account of various environmental issues. And then thirdly, the need to balance conservation with resource utilization and economic activities, which means that if you want to do nature tourism, it has to be responsible and sustainable nature tourism. So these are the three main approaches that we have to look into based on this paper highlighted by Cheng et al., which has been just published this month. Okay, so much about the conservation of fireflies. Now, I would like to draw your attention on some of these mangrove congregating fireflies found in Sabah. And all these were taken from Sapeluk Bulletin, in which my senior colleague, Dr. Che Woon Ken, has done quite a lot of work documenting some of these fireflies throughout Sabah. And what you see here is Pteroptyx bienii, previously known as Pteroptyx similis. And you can see that this firefly, this genus is always about 5 to 6 millimeters. Okay. Now the next one is Pteroptyx tenor. So as I've said, this is among the commonest firefly species, 5 to 6 mm. And again, this was taken from Sapeluk Bulletin. But Sonny Wong of NMS told me that sometimes it's very difficult to identify firefly from macro pictures. It's difficult because of the reflection of the flash and also what angle that the picture has been taken. So you can see that in this picture, the elytra or the wings, the firefly wing is quite dark in color. But if you take it from a different angle, like this picture, the next picture provided by Oba Nobuyoshi through Sonny Wong, the color is much lighter. So sometimes, or rather most of the time, it's difficult to identify fireflies from photo. So you you don't have to blame hardcore researchers. They turn down your identification when you send them pictures to identify. They need to look into other details like genitalia and so on. That it's the same for other insects. Yeah, the same for other insects like flies and so on. Okay. And this is Pteroptyx malaccae, obviously named after Malacca. I guess it was described from, or rather found from Malacca. This one is about 7 mm. And this is Pteroptyx gelacina, about 7 mm. You can see them, all of them, yeah, look alike. But this one is different, yeah. This is another group of firefly. This is not a congregating firefly. This is a solitary fireflies of the species Pyrosolia opaca. Now, this is a large firefly with a body length of 18 mm. Well, you would tell me, come on, Arthur, only 18 mm is just about 2 cm. So what is so spectacular? But you have to remember, Pteroptyx is only 5 mm or 5 or 6 mm. This one is 3 times Pteroptyx. Yeah, and this was recorded from Tabin and Kyeonsom lowland forest. This is not at the mangrove area, but this is in the lowland forest. Yeah, okay. And it's, when I saw this for the first time, wow, it was quite spectacular. Yeah, look at the hood. Yeah, look at the hood covering the head. Okay. Wow, what did I press? I pressed something else. Okay, the next one. Let's see what we have next. Oh, this is also another interesting firefly called Picoluciola whitnerii. What? Look at this, the light producing organ here. It forms a love shape or a heart shape. Yeah. So it's something very unique. 9 mm in length. And it's a rare, according to Che, it's a rare firefly with a heart shape at the lower part of the body, recorded from Kyeonsom forest fragment in Kota Kinabalu. Right, another Luciola species also recorded from Kyeonsom. Luciola, and this is less than 5 mm. This is a very small but gregarious firefly, all right? The smaller they are, the more gregarious they are. Okay. Now, I would like to draw your attention to this firefly here. This is a new firefly species, Luciola singapora, discovered only in 2021 in Singapore freshwater swamp, but collected in 1990 by Peter K.L. And this was described by a group of researchers from Lee Tong Chen Natural History Museum, led by Dr. Wan Farida. And this species is less than 5 mm. Oh, I'm looking at my watch now. I don't have much time, so I'll go very fast, yeah? Okay, so much about fireflies. I would like to highlight now some starworms found in Sabah. And starworms are related to fireflies. In fact, before this, I used to call them glowworm, but Sonny Wong told me that it's more correctly to be called starworm. Glowworms refer to those that are found in Australia and New Zealand, those inside the caves. Yeah, they're actually Diptera, but this one, it's beetle. They are from the family Rogaptalmidae. You don't have to remember this. And this was collected by my boss, Dr. Robert Ong, in his Sapilok B&B. Now that is how it looks like. Yeah, but when you take a picture of it without using the light, you see the cold light reflected on the container. So it's quite spectacular when you see this, especially when they are in groups. All right, another starworm from Tinompok Forest Reserve, 1,700 meters above sea level, adjacent to Kinabalu Park. And these are some of the do and don'ts or brochure given to visitors when they come to distributed by Malaysian Nature Society. All right, especially when they go for firefly watching. Now, I'm not going into detail on this because I don't have much time already. Bagaimana Anda boleh membantu? I have emphasized some of this already. Now, I would like to emphasize here, if possible, when you go for firefly watching, don't use mosquito repellent, don't use lots of perfume and so on. Fireflies don't like that, yeah. Otherwise, you may not get fireflies coming to you. Okay. Okay, I've mentioned that. A bit on ethics when you go for nature tourism. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, kill nothing but time. Very important to adopt this. You have to practice this when you do nature tourism. I always tell this to the tour guides. I always tell this to kids. Yeah, take care of the environment. Yeah, it's very important so that our future generation can get to see and enjoy and appreciate what we have today. And again, ethics in nature tourism, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is right to do. So before I end, I just want to give you an overview of what you will normally see when you go for mangrove evening tour, especially for fireflies. You don't only see fireflies, but you do see many other things. Okay, this was based on my experience at the Pangkalan Batu Sepuluh mangrove tour. Yeah. Okay, Ian, I know I'm running out of time, but I will finish this very fast.
No,
Okay,
it's okay. Just go ahead.
okay. Yeah, you reach the area at about slightly before 5, or rather 4:30. Yeah, 4:30. It's part of the package. You have to fill up your stomach first with some traditional kuih, some kupi, tea, and so on. But remember to go to the restroom before you board the boat, yeah, because you will be on the boat for about 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours, yeah. And normally they don't stop. Normally, but this one we did, yeah, we did. Okay, we did. So you can try to have some local delicacy, like what is being showcased there. Now, we were very lucky because on once we boarded the boat, not even up to 5 minutes, this is what we saw: a crocodile. Not only a crocodile, but with a bonus crocodile with its trophy. You know what is that? That is silver leaf monkey. Yeah, that is the crocodile's trophy. So we managed to see this crocodile, but okay, like it's a bit unfortunate we couldn't see that the crocodile was attacking the silver leaf monkey. But this is already a bonus, you see, real bonus. And of course, you could see the mangrove vegetation, the rhizophora, the stilt roots, the seeds, the hanging seeds, yeah, the pots, yeah, the seed pots. It's known as properdew. So for those of you who have not been to mangrove, this is something quite spectacular. It's like you are in an alien world, you know, Jurassic Park and so on, and you cruise along the river. And of course, you meet some fishermen, and you tanya kabar, any fish, any crabs, and they will wave at you, they will smile at you. They are always very hospitable. And when you are in Sabah, anywhere you go in the mangrove, you are bound to see. I would say 90% you'll see this, yeah, the proboscis monkey, the Borneo endemic proboscis monkey. Unfortunately, you can't see this in Peninsula, yeah. This is one of the bonus that we have in Sabah, and of course we landed on this beautiful beach here, yeah, and we waited until sunset. We took lots of nice picture of the sunset, yeah, and we hang around. We see people collecting their traps, yeah, the ketam punya trap, and took lots of pictures. Then we went back to see fireflies. We saw a lot of fireflies that evening because it rained in the afternoon, and it was really a wonderful atmosphere. But unfortunately, I can't capture this at night. But I could feel that the Christmas light atmosphere was wonderful. So that was the experience. Oh yeah, okay. Before I end, just to your firefly is an inspiration in art and design, like for logo, for emblem, for corsage, for textile design, for jewelry, and even it is the name of an airline company in Malaysia. Yeah, an airline, the Firefly Airlines. Yeah, so because it's a buzzword, I guess. It's so adorable, so cute, so they decided to name it Firefly, right? Okay, now just before I end, yeah, I would like to highlight for those hardcore people who are doing research, some of these references are very important, yeah. Like you have to know who are these people. Leslie Valentine, he's the key person, key researcher who has done a lot of research on fireflies based in Australia. Sean Cheng has written the latest paper on fireflies in Southeast Asia, gaps, and tourism and conservation in biodiversity and conservation. And then I mentioned about the Selangor Declaration, Conservation of Fireflies, and Wan Farida, who is leading the team working on fireflies. She described the new species, Luteola singapura, and also Sonny Wong of Malaysian Nature Society. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I end my presentation here. So thank you very much. I've exceeded 5 minutes of the time. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
I'm
How come there's a
Yeah.
Pikachu on screen? Is it?
Oh,
Ashwin
yeah,
and Daniel in.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
It's me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Matthew and Matthias, can you not
I need
share?
the camera. I need the camera by myself.
Okay, Wong, can you help with this one? Okay. So, all right. So Arthur is very exciting, as all of us know. You can see how Arthur is do that. Every single one of the firefly species is very interesting, and yes, he can talk quite a lot about. If you want to see Arthur talking more about insects, right? We actually have one video of Arthur introducing the Insect Museum at FRC on our Sabah Society Facebook group, so you can check it out and you get to know more about insects. So Arthur, I have to let you know, there are tons of questions waiting for you. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
So I
be
have
prepared.
to answer them very fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Take your, you have to answer, but make sure that we all can catch your answer. So,
Okay.
So we can go a little bit.
Yes.
Late is fine.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
means I have to look at the chat. Yeah. Am I right? Or are you going to read it aloud for me?
Yeah. After I will read it out for you, so don't worry about it.
Right.
In front of me.
Yeah.
So Sahida did ask about the question, which part of Sabah do you have firefly watching? So Sahida, I'm sure just now through the slides, the question has been answered. And of course, there are a few participants in this talk who has kindly helped to answer as well. Thank you very much for answering.
Oh, right. Great. Yeah.
Okay. So Rosilla Anthony asked the question, of the 70 species found in Malaysia, firefly species found in Malaysia, how many species in Sabah? Of the 70 found, how many?
Okay. Again, this is a guesstimate or rather an estimate. I would say that there are about 30 to 40 species. But again, I could be wrong. I do not know. It's just an estimate. Yeah, 30 to 40 species. Even the 70 species is an estimate. Yep.
Okay. All right. So then John Pereira asked this question: are the glowworms in New Zealand in as fireflies, as they also emit light?
No, they are not beetles. Yeah, they belong to the Diptera group, Diptera order, which are flies and mosquitoes. Gnats. They are gnats actually. Well, I put it flies. Yeah. So it is when you say glowworm, that's why people get confused. Yeah. But because glowworm is so loosely used, everybody accepts glowworms as part of firefly. But glowworms originally refers to the one found in Australia and New Zealand. Those in the caves. Those are gnats.
Okay. Those are gnats, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So Michael Len did comment that there's actually fireflies in Kawa, Kottabu Kawa River. Okay.
Yes. And I was told that is one of the best places for firefly watching. You're talking about Kottabu, right?
Yeah, Kottabu Kawa River.
Yes. I have not been there yet. I must go there one day to experience it myself. Yep.
So yes, if you have any place that says fireflies, Dr. Arthur doesn't know, let him know because he'll be the first to go there to look at fireflies. So Angela made a comment saying that she has been to Clears to watch fireflies, but it was very disappointing. For the whole night, she only saw 2 or 3 echo of fireflies.
Really? Oh, when was that? Yeah, I mean, well, I've been there many years ago. It was okay. Watching fireflies in Clears is different from watching firefly in Sungai Kuantan in Kuala Selangor, because the river in Sungai Kuantan is very small. So but in Clears, yeah, or in Sungai Grama, the width of the river is bigger. So that's why the impact is not so great, you see.
Yeah, I remember Clears, and actually they were like Christmas lightings. But of course that was a couple of years ago, lah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so weekly Mobilim also suggested actually should try Western. They have a good numbers of fireflies. Okay,
right.
then Rosina asked another question. What's affecting the differences in the fireflies light in different locations? What is affecting the differences in fireflies in different location? Maybe she meant a congregation of different fireflies.
Oh, different species, yeah. Different species, different colony will exhibit different timing of flashing, and even male and female, even the timing is different. Normally, the male will exhibit more lights and more continuous light to attract the female. So if the female exhibit, it will flash the light also. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then John, another question. That's why I said you have a lot of questions waiting for you. So, do both female and male fireflies emit light? If they do, are there differences in the intensity of the light?
Yes. If it is for mating purposes, of course, they try to compete, you see, to get the female. Yeah.
Okay. The next one is coming from one of the children who participated in tonight's talk.
Oh, right, great, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
the question is,
I think the talk is a bit too deep for them. I should have simplified.
No, I think it's okay lah. So their question is, do female get baby?
Do female get babies?
Do female fireflies get babies?
Do female fireflies get babies? Yeah, they lay eggs. Of course, they have babies. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So another thing is, okay, the last question is coming from Lily Tan. What is the reason of a lot of fireflies after rain? Because of the tree honey?
No, it's because of the environment. It's nice, cooling. Same with humans. After the rain, is the weather is so nice, so cool. Of course, you want to hang out. Yeah. It's the same for insects. Not only fireflies, like stick insect. Yeah. After rain in the afternoon, you feel very fresh. You want to come out and feed on the leaves and so on. You see. So, but of course, the fireflies, the adults, they feed on plant sap and extra floral nectaries. But the reason they hang out at night is because of sexual communication and so on, congregation. Yep.
Okay. So the last question that comes, actually, I do have a question about this. Sorry, I have to ask here. I will probably ask in off. I thought it's interesting. Are fireflies territorial?
Yes, they are. They are different species. Will conquer different display trees or different parts of the display tree. You do get different species on one tree, but different part of the trees. Yes.
Oh, so that's why you see a difference in terms of frequency in certain trees, and then another tree where that might be.
It could be different colony, but of the same species, or it could be different species. Yes.
I see. Okay, that's actually interesting. Very interesting to know.
Right.
That the rest of the questions for tonight, because there are no more questions.
Okay.
So thank you very much for answering very quickly to all the questions. And
it's
wonderful.
my pleasure.
Yeah, so thank you very much. And for those of you, if you would like to know more about Arthur's work, wait a second, let me get this one up. If you'd like to know more about Arthur's work, and then also if you'd like to know more about beetles, sorry, let me just share my screen, whether it's working. Yes. Yes, you can actually check out this particular book that is written by Stephen Boswang, Arthur, and Xiao Chan. Is basically a guide to beetles of Borneo, because since we're talking about fireflies tonight, so I thought I'll introduce this book. So if you want a copy of it, it is actually 140 ringgit. You can actually order it from the Natural History Borneo Publications. And if you can see, it's actually quite a good book, and it has a lot of details. What I really like about it, the pictures are super clear, and what I really like about it, a lot of the description of the species, right, they actually include the part on explaining what the Latin name actually means for the different beetles. Of course, not all of the ones have it, but there are few have it, so it actually helps you understand more why certain beetles have certain Latin names. So if you want to learn more about beetles, specific beetles, you want to know more about other insects, actually recently they just, Arthur together with his colleagues, just recently published a book, Serangga Hutan Hujan Tropika Sabah, and this is quite a nice book as well. It's written in Malay. It's really good. The pictures are really good as well. So you can actually check out the book at you can buy it from FRC, RDC, or Forestry HQ in Sandakan. If you stay outside of Sandakan, right, what you can do is basically WhatsApp 016-802-4696, contact Razi, or contact Diane Pasrina at 01465-18819 to get a copy. Of course, you'll be advised on the payment and postal charges. So that's the hard copy. But in case that you do not want a hard copy, there is a digital copy online that which you can download. I've checked it out and it's really good. Okay. So it's a total of 131 pages. You can actually download it for free online as well if you do not want to purchase a hard copy. All right. And the other thing that I have on hand is this. Sabah Society Journal. Yes, we just received our badge for Sandakan. So for any of our Sandakan Sabah Society members who would like a copy of this one, you can actually start putting note to our email, the Gmail. So public price currently is standing at 120 ringgit, member price at 108. So it's actually a really good, I have to say that the articles for this time out is actually very good, and the printing quality is quite nice as well. So this is something that you can get. So if you want to know more about what we do, the Sabah Society, visit our website, thesabahsociety.com. If you want to check out what is the Sabah Society, basically have a main branch in KK and also a branch in Sandakan. So the main comms Facebook page is facebook.com/the Sabah Society. For the Sandakan group is /groups/ Sabah Society Sandakan. So you can check out our Twitter and Instagram as well. So yes, just now I talked about those who would like a book. Check. You can actually send us a message to ss.sandakan@gmail.com. Put in the title, want a copy of the journal, want to purchase a copy of the journal, and we'll respond to your email as soon as possible. As I mentioned just now, one copy, non-member 120 ringgit, members price 108. So how much do we charge for membership fee? For students, annual subscription is 30 ringgit. For adults, 75 ringgit per year. So if you want to join as a live membership, one off is 1,000. What are the advantages? Okay, of course, our talks we never charge, but if we wanted to organize a trip actually to Pangkalan, but very unfortunately, due to our current condition, we couldn't actually make it. But usually when we organize trips, you do tend to get a massive discount on our trips. Apart from the massive discount, you do have some of our bosses in the committee guiding you. For example, Boss Wong, Boss Robert, they will be wonderful guides for trips. So you get to learn a lot as well if you join in on trips. So I think that's about it for tonight from us. And thank you all for participating and staying with us throughout until now. If you want to learn more about Sabah, well, check out our Facebook group and then we'll update there from time to time. Okay. So, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arthur. and then I'll see you back in office.